Hello and welcome to USA Speedway. My name is Justin. I'm the owner of Team 53. I partner with Coach Dave Academy to provide you these Learn to Drive videos. This video is going to cover the mini stocks, or rookie mini stocks at USA Speedway as part of iRacing's 2025 Season 1 Week 3 official series action. If you're new to this channel, make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit the subscribe. There's a link to join me in the Team 53 Discord in the description below, as well as to join Coach Dave Academy if you're interested in getting open road course as well as our short track setups from Team 53. You can also subscribe in the Team 53 Discord to grab all of my official setups for all 5 of the iRacing short track cars. The mini stocks they're a great learner car. They're going to teach you a lot of the basics of how to drive, but they also create some really, really bad habits. This car, because it's so small, it's so under horsepower, and sitting on decent sized tires, you can really feel like you can drive it in really deep and that you can get on throttle really early. And a lot of times, what that will do is it's going to create some really bad habits for you later on, and it's not necessarily um, any faster, right? So one of the things that I talk about with a lot of my driver development guys, and that I'm working with, my daughter on with her racing, is thinking about um, going forward in a straight line, right? When we're whether it's in a go-kart, whether it's in a mini stock, a super late model, or if you want to get into the upper ranks of NASCAR in iRacing, the biggest thing is making sure that your car is driving forward and not sideways. So when we talk about things like yaw, there's a good amount of yaw, and then there's a point where you're just sliding, wheel spin, those types of things. And the mini stock, it feels like it's going to reward you if you overdrive it and if you wheel spin it, but over the course of a run, that overdrive, that wheel spin is actually going to end up to be a slower lap for you. So let's hop in. This is more of our traditional. Let's look at a qualifying lap. Let's go look at race laps. So qualifying lap here, we're going to come out. Tire heat is extremely important in iRacing. To tire heat in the mini stock for this race, what I'm doing is I'm just putting it in first gear. So I'm running first gear all the way around this corner, and then I'm going to gas brake alternating with swerving left and to the right. So you'll see me do this here. This, in some instances, is worth maybe a tenth, certainly a half a tenth to a tenth, just by getting heat in your tires. Anyone who tells you it does nothing is lying to you. You'll also see me grab a little bit of brake here down the back stretch just to give it a little extra. And then we crank the wheel to the left here into turn 3, grab the brake, and then we throttle up as hard as we can to wind up this little mini stock. One thing I always like to have my guys compare when they're learning is speed at the start finish line. It's a good way to tell how much momentum you're going to be able to carry on your lap. So if your start finish line speed is only 103 miles an hour, you're already 3 miles an hour slower than me at the start finish line. I found anywhere between 3/100ths of a second. For most people, they're able to gain just by getting a good run here on the start of their lap. So we go down the front stretch. You can see we're nice and tight up against the wall. We're going to get here to the second set of dashes. We're going to start to turn in. You see I'm still on throttle until just before I get to this stoplight. So we're kind of in, it's what I'd call no man's land, but it's between that second set of dashes and this third one and the stoplight right here before the corner. Third set of dashes, stoplight. That's where we're going to lift. And this is where we're going to grab brake. Very traditional brake points to what we're used to. Now the car, when you get under braking, is going to kick out a little bit. So what you got to make sure you do is you got to straighten out your wheel. And I wish this had the MPI line at the top, but we can kind of tell using our radio button and then certainly using this bottom spoke here that the wheel is pretty straight when I'm under braking getting into the corner. So as we get into the corner, we get slowed down. You'll see me turn in a little bit more. And now the car is under yaw. The goal here is to get this left front tire below this black groove here and right around this yellow line. If you can do those two things, get it in that little, 24-inch space there, you're going to do really, really well on your lap. So you see here, I'm center of the corner now. I'm just releasing the brake. I'm letting it drift. It's starting to push a little bit, so I give it some throttle, and I just go straight to full throttle for drive off here. And we carry it nice and tight. You didn't see me having to right turn the wheel very much on exit there. It was just very much controlled. We get ready here for turn 3. Now the wall is going to come out here, which is where you would normally pull in if this were the actual track. But now we'll pitch it as the wall starts to get closer. We start to turn in. And then as we pass this stoplight and where the wall reconnects with where it should be, right, we're going to lift. We're going to brake again. You can see I'm straightening out the wheel. Slight counter steer to the right. And then we're just going to turn in. We'll cross over that set of dash lines. And then just like 1 and 2, the goal is to get this left side tires as close to this yellow line, if not on it, as we possibly can. Ton of grip there, and that's where you're going to find all of your speed. If you miss that, half a tenth lost in either end of the track. So really work on that. We'll throttle up before that last set of dashes and before this yellow line comes out for pit exit, just slightly before that, before this last set of dash lines. We'll throttle all the way up, and then we'll just drive off super comfortably. You don't see me sawing at the wheel, yanking at it, and we get a 23.455. I think with more practice, probably could get that down to a 23.39, somewhere in there, 3.8. I think you'll see some guys running towards the end of the week as we've had more practice. Same goes for me. I mean, I'm hopping in this. I'm running, 15, 20 laps of practice, just enough to get you guys some great advice and to kind of understand the tips. Race trim wise, you're going to notice race is going to look very similar to qualifying. You'll bang the chip. The biggest thing for these cars, right, is just resist the temptation to overdrive them, right? You get competitive, you think you've got to be on throttle going faster. You don't necessarily need to. Just kind of ride with it. How do you pass in these? USA is a huge track, 3/4 of a mile. Um, Diving it into one is generally where people try and find it, or when people are overdriving sliding on exit, you can drive under them if you're patient. Certainly, waiting longer in runs, you can, if you need to, drive it in deep for a lap or two, but don't do it over the course of a full race. You'll end up burning more than you'll save. But race line looks pretty much the exact same as our qualifying line. It's going to feel the exact same. It's the exact same setup. Some tips under pacing to kind of help you be able to get up to speed: drag like 10% of brake, just enough to kind of get a little heat built up. Not too much that you get too much heat and the car gets tight too soon. As you run in this race, you'll have to open up your pitch a little bit more into the corner and take a wider arc. But other than that, it's a pretty fun drive. It's one of my favorites in the mini stock. But if you've made it this far, hopefully you've hit the like button. Hopefully you've hit the subscribe button. Hopefully you've gone down to the description. You've clicked on joining the Team 53 Discord, no charge there. I'm available just about 24/7 for support and whatever help you might need. Otherwise, consider joining the Coach Dave Academy. It's a great tool to use as you grow in your iRacing career. So best of luck, and we'll see you in the next video.